Bienvenidos, aloha, welcome in to TarTV. We are live from Stuart Fine Baseball Field. The Battle of the Bay. Will O'Neill on the bump for the Sailors. And he's behind in the count. 2 balls, 1 strike. Our first batter of the afternoon for Corona Del Mar. Second baseman Matt DeCrona standing in the batter's box for the Sea Kings game number 1 of our 3-game Battle of the Bay series. And O'Neill's 4th pitch evens the count at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody on, nobody out. Top of the first inning from our 7-inning game here today. Battle of the Bay Sailors need to sweep if they want to have a good shot at the postseason right now. Newport Harbor comes into today 11-9 on the season. They've won 3 out of their last 4. Last game was on Saturday, a 6-3 loss to the Laguna Beach Breakers. But they did take 2 out of 3 from Laguna. And O'Neill has ran the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes to DeCrona, leading off this afternoon's game. The future USC Trojan delivers a swing and a miss, and DeCrona looks silly. O'Neill's first batter faced is also his first strikeout of the afternoon. We got 1 down. Max Lane, number 1, first baseman. Right-handed batter steps in for the Sea Kings. O'Neill's first pitch is a ball. Will O'Neill, the future USC Trojan, senior pitcher, 4-3 on the season. Started 6 games. This was his 7th start. And his second pitch to Lane, low and inside. Strike number 1. Count is 1-1 with 1 down, nobody on. No runs scored. Top 1 of this afternoon's matchup between the Sailors and the Sea Kings. That one way outside. Breaking ball. Misses everything. 2-1. The count now to Max Lane. Will O'Neill leads the team. 32 strikeouts on the year. 1.67 ERA. Starting his 7th game here. That one swung on and whacked into left field. Easy money there for Caden Stoll. 2 down. Top of the first. And Blake Butcher, the number 3 batter, the 3rd baseman for the Sea Kings, getting his first crack of the bat this afternoon. Left-handed batter. Butcher steps into the box with 2 down, top of the first. From Stuart Fine Field, O'Neill on the bump delivers inside. Ball number 1. O'Neill's second pitch, swing and a miss right down the pipe. Count is 1-1 to Butcher. Ooh, that one so far inside behind the batter. So going from chin music to neck music, back of the neck music. The breaking ball from O'Neill. Count is 2-1 with 2 down, nobody on. Top of the first. O'Neill delivers just a hair high. And Butcher now ahead in the count. 3 balls, 1 strike, nobody on, 2 outs. DeCrona struck out swinging to open the game. Max Lane flew out to left. And Butcher watches that one just go outside. Christensen tried to frame it. And Butcher throws off his batting gloves, jogs up the first base line with a walk. First walk issued today by O'Neill. And the cleanup batter for the Sea Kings, Charlie Mannon. Number 24, the right fielder, steps in. Another left-handed batter here. Back-to-back lefties for Corona Del Mar. O'Neill delivers. That one high and outside, ball number 1. Want to know the count to Mannon, one of several football players on the Sea Kings. And, of course, Corona Del Mar just a little over a month ago won the Battle of the Bay here at Davidson Field by 3 points. And looking down the Sea Kings lineup, Max Lane, Charlie Mannon, Jack Salmon, Ryan Zimmerman, a few of the football players lacing them up today for the Corona Del Mar baseball team. Of course, James Kroll and Cole Levin, a few of the football players. For Newport Harbor, that one fouled back. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Charlie Mannon. His teammate, third baseman Blake Butcher, stands on first base. Here, top 1 from Stuart Fine Field. Game number 2 will be played over at Corona Del Mar on Thursday, and they will finish out the series here at Newport Harbor on Saturday. Mannon steps out, calls time. Two and 1 the count to Charlie Mannon. Runner goes. Pitch is in there for a strike. Throw to second. Not in time. And Blake Butcher advances to second base with a steal. And now the Sea Kings have a runner in scoring position. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the first, Charlie Mannon steps back, the left-handed batter. Waits for the pitch from Will O'Neill. O'Neill delivers just a bit outside, and the count is full. Full count, 2 down, and a runner on second for the Sea Kings here to open up the Battle of the Bay series. Top of the first. O'Neill struck out the first batter he faced, Matt DeCrona. Sailors would love another K here. O'Neill delivers, fouled back up high towards the Corona Del Mar bleachers, and the count remains full. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Charlie Mannon. Sea Kings coming in 15-5 on the season, 5-1 in league, and they took 2 out of 3 from Marina in their last series, their last game. Over the weekend, they beat the Vikings 7-4. Christensen jogs up to have a word with O'Neill. And now full count to Charlie Mannon, runner. Blake Butcher, the third baseman, stole second. He stands there. O'Neill looks him off, delivers. Curveball. Bounces right off the netting in front of us for ball number 4. O'Neill couldn't get that one to drop into the zone. And it's back-to-back walks issued by the Sailors' senior pitcher. Butcher advances to third. So runners on the corners for CDM. As their number 5 batter, Ethan Watson, the left fielder, right-handed batter, will get his first crack of the bat this afternoon from Stuart Fine Field. O'Neill, 1 strikeout, 2 walks. And he's got to escape a jam here. Top 1, he delivers. High and inside, brushes Watson back a bit. It is a ball. 1-0 the count to Ethan Watson, with Blake Butcher on third and Charlie Mannon on first base. Corona Del Mar trying to draw first blood. Runner in scoring position. Throw back to first. Keeping Charlie Mannon honest. And O'Neill looks into his catcher, Troy Christensen, for the sign. 1-0 is the count, 2 down, top of the first. Nobody scored yet, but the Sea Kings are knocking on the door. Runner goes to second. And there'll be no throw from Christensen. That's in there for a strike. So the count is 1-1, but Charlie Mannon now has stolen a base. And the Sea Kings have 2 runners in scoring position with 2 down. 1 ball, 1 strike to Ethan Watson. O'Neill delivers. Oh, and that one's painting the outside corner for a strike. A late call from the home plate umpire, but O'Neill able to get ahead in the count. 1 and 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs And runners on second and third for CDM. Ethan Watson stands in the batter's box for the Sea Kings. O'Neal delivers. Swung on and ripped towards right field. Retreating and catching it on the run for the third out of the inning is Evan Langston. An athletic play to escape the jam. O'Neal gets out of it, and we head to the bottom of the first. Nobody on the board yet. The Sea Kings leave 2 on. Runners left on second and third. No runs, no hits, no errors. We head bottom 1 in the Battle of the Bay. You are watching Newport Harbor Boys Baseball on TarTV. Welcome back into TarTV. Bottom of the first inning. And the Sailors going to get their first swings of the bat here in game number 1, Battle of the Bay series between your Newport Harbor Sailors and the visiting Corona Del Mar Sea Kings. Game number 2 going to be across the bay. On Thursday, we'll wrap things up here at Stewart Fine Field in this 3-game series on Saturday. But game number 1, scoreless, bottom of the first, and Bryce Blazer stands in for Newport Harbor. First pitch from Strauss, high, ball number 1. Bryce Blazer playing center field today for the Sailors. Batting .317 on the season. And he watches that one. Just an inch or 2 inside, according to the home plate umpire. CDM crowd doesn't like her, and Blazer, the patient eye, gets ahead in the count 2-0. Bryce Blazer moved here from Florida. And that one's in there for strike number 1 from Keller Strauss on the bump today for Corona Del Mar. Bryce Blazer, first-year varsity player. 16 runs batted in, 1 solo home run. And I remember that to deep center field. Who he swings, he gets a foul tip, Blazer does on that. And that evens the count at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes to the Sailors' junior outfielder. Playing center today is Blazer, and it looks like Newport Harbor has some new uniforms today. Dark navy tops, white pants, gray numbers, white lettering, with a red number on the front of the jersey. I don't know if they're new or not. They look new to me. They look good. They look clean, crisp, fresh. Look good, feel good, play good. Bryce Blazer stands in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That one drops right into the zone. Blazer is sent packing back to the dugout. Strikeout looking. First strikeout of the day from the first batter faced by CDM pitcher Keller Strauss. And Caden Stoll, playing left field today, steps in for the Sailors. With nobody on and 1 down here, bottom of the first. Curveball from Strauss finds the strike zone again. And the Corona Del Mar pitcher ahead in the count, 0-1 to Caden Stoll. That one swung on, fouled back. And quickly, Strauss working Ahead 0-2 to Caden Stoll. One of two Sailors seniors headed to play at Colorado Springs next season. That's Stoll and Evan Langston. Stoll fouls that one just to the left of the third base line. Staying alive, Stoll with the mustache. Adjusts his batting gloves here in game one of the Battle of the Bay, his last Battle of the Bay series as a Sailor. And he'll step back in the batter's box, down 0-2 in the count to Keller Strauss. One down. Bryce Blazer got caught looking on the strikeout from Strauss. Strauss delivers. That one drops in. And back-to-back strikeouts. An absolutely filthy curveball. 12-6 dropping in from Keller Strauss. And he makes quick work of the first two batters. He faces Bryce Blazer, sent home looking, and now his teammate Caden Stoll will join him in the dugout. We head to our number 3 batter for the Sailors. First time today, Jackson Gillis will stand in for Newport Harbor, the first baseman, DHing today. And another strike, first pitch strike from Keller Strauss. Gillis batting a blazing hot 369 on the season. Great average this late in the year. Gillis watches that one nick the outside bottom corner for strike number 2. Strauss working quickly. I don't know if he's got a bust to catch or a train to catch or what, but he is making quick work of these batters. Check swing from Gillis as it bounces in the dirt, and that's ball number 1. 1-2 now the count to the Sailors' designated hitter, Jackson Gillis. 4 home runs, 21 runs batted in for Gillis on the season. And he's trying to get on with 2 down, bottom of the first here for the Sailors. Strauss delivers. Low and inside for ball number 2. So Gillis, patient in the box. Deuces wild on the scoreboard. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here in the bottom of the first from Stuart Font Field, a swing. And a foul tip caught by the Sea Kings catcher, Nico De Ferdinando. 1, 2, 3, 3 up, 3 down for the Sailors. At the bottom of the first, quick work by Keller Strauss. And we head to the top of the second, scoreless. No hits, no runs, no errors. Bottom 1 for the Sailors. Sea Kings will be back at bat when we come back. You're watching Battle of the Bay Baseball on TarTV. Welcome back into TarTV. Alex Crawford with you here from Stuart Fine Baseball Field. Game number 1 of a 3-game series between your Newport Harbor Sailors and the Corona Del Mar Sea Kings. Newport Harbor pretty much needs to sweep CDM in this series to have a shot at the postseason. And Will O'Neill gets to work on the mound to open up the top of the second. Van Sidebotham, number 6 batter, the shortstop, stands in for Corona Del Mar. And O'Neill behind in the count, 2-0. 2-0 pitch in there For strike number 1. 2-1 the count to Side Botham. Sea King shortstop. Sea King's left runner stranded in scoring position as Side Botham rips that towards left field. It's going to drop in for a base hit. Stoll has to grab it off the warning track, and Side Botham into second base easily. Stand-up double. Didn't even break a sweat jogging over to there, and the Sea Kings are right back to work. Opening up the second inning, they left runners on second and third to end the first, and the shortstop, Side Botham, the leadoff hitter here in the second, rips the double to left field. And now standing in, the number 7 hitter, the DH, number 39, Jack Salmon, left-handed. Batter steps into the box for the Sailors. Will O'Neill looks back to second and delivers low and outside. It skips off the back wall, and Side Botham trots into third. A wild pitch from O'Neill. Christensen going to jog up to the mound to talk it over with his senior pitcher. And the CDM looking to draw first blood. They got their first hit of the game leading off the second there from Van Side Botham, the shortstop. And now it's the DH, Jack Salmon, taking some rips. Some warm-up swings while Christensen and O'Neill chatted up on the mound, and now Will O'Neill gets ready. Down to the count 1-0. That first ball was a wild pitch. Now O'Neill regains his control there, still a bit low according to Blue. And 2-0 the count to Salmon. 2-0 pitch swung on and missed. For strike number 1. 2-1 the count to Salmon. Side Botham stands at third. Scoreless game. Top of the second from Stuart Fine Field. Sailors got to close out the season strong. Effectively needing to sweep the Sea Kings if they want to have a shot at the postseason. O'Neill delivers just a hair low. And Salmon looking at a hitter's count, 3-1. To the Corona Del Mar DH. O'Neill, the future USC Trojan, delivers low in the dirt. It skips off a home plate, and Jack Salmon, a patient at bat for Corona Del Mar, trots up the first base line with a walk. Now Corona Del Mar has runners on the corners. Side Botham on third, Salmon on first, nobody out. And O'Neill having some trouble finding the zone today. Through one inning, he's already issued 3 walks to go along with 1 strikeout. He struck out the first batter. He faced Matt DeCrona. And Ryan Zimmerman, center fielder, steps in the box for CDM. O'Neill gets that one in there for strike number 1. 0-1 the count to Ryan Zimmerman. Trying to drive in some runs for the Sea Kings, fresh off a 2 out of 3 series against Marina. Zimmerman drives that one deep left center. It's going to get over the Farmers and Merchants Bank banner. Touch them all, Ryan Zimmerman. He goes yard, and CDM blows this thing up here, top of the second. 3-0, Battle of the Bay. They won the football Battle of the Bay by 3. And they get a field goal from Ryan Zimmerman here, top second. Home plate umpire telling him to get back in the dugout. As Ryan Zimmerman goes yard. And Will O'Neill gives up his second hit of the afternoon, a costly one. As there was no shot at tracking that thing down. Bryce Blazer in center for the Sailors. And CDM clears the bases. 3-0, they lead. As the catcher, number 9 batter, Nico De Ferdinando, number 15, steps in. A swing and a miss from De Ferdinando. And O'Neill evens it up. 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody out. Here in the top of the second inning. Game number 1 of the Battle of the Bay series. De Ferdinando foul tips that one think, into his own leg, and O'Neal finally here ahead in the count, 1-2. Ferdinando calls time, steps out. And the home plate umpire tells O'Neal not to get any practice pitches in while Ferdinando steps out of the box. Now O'Neal looks into his catcher, Troy Christensen, and the future SC Trojan delivers. Swung on, ripped towards deep left field, retreating back at the wall. That one is gone. A solo shot to deep left field. Nico Ferdinando going yard. And the Sea Kings having themselves an inning here, top of the second. 3 hits, 4 runs, 2 moonshots for the Sea Kings. And we're back to the top of the order. The second baseman, number 1 hitter, Matt DeCrona, steps into the box for Corona Del Mar. It's 4-0 Sea Kings. O'Neal's first pitch into DeCrona. Strike number 1. O'Neal struck out DeCrona to open the game, and perhaps O'Neal can regain some of that magic he opened the game with here against the Sea Kings' number 1 hitter. That one swung on, fouled up the third baseline. And O'Neal heading the count 0-2. Sea Kings bats coming alive in the second inning. Breaking ball by O'Neal. High and way outside, and that's ball number 1. Last 4 batters faced by O'Neal. A double, a walk, a 3-run homer, and a solo homer. This one fouled back. Count remains 1-2. So the Sailors ace facing some adversity here in the second inning. Looking for out number 1. That one swung on, ripped straight away through the gap at second base. And Matt DeCrona reaches on a single. Sailors still unable to record an out yet in this inning. Van Sidebotham opened up the inning with a double. Jack Salmon walked, and then Zimmerman drove in a 3-run homer. Ferdinando a solo shot, and now Matt DeCrona on first base with a single. That one fouled back from Max Lane, the first baseman. And O'Neal ahead in the count, 0-1. Max Lane flew out to left field in the first, 0-for-1 this afternoon. Runner goes towards second. Max Lane rips that one in the gap between center and right field. Now the throw coming, and that's going to drive in a run. Throw is not nearly in time. Matt DeCrona comes around to score. He had quite the jump from first. He'll touch home plate, and Max Lane is in at second with a stand-up double. Sailors still unable to record any outs in the second inning, and we'll have a conference on the mound with the infield, the coaches, the catcher Christensen, and today's pitcher Will O'Neal. So after that, they will keep O'Neal on the mound. Looking to, I don't even know if you'd say escape this jam, but find the strike zone and regain some of that confidence he opened up the game with. First batter faced was a strikeout, and Sailors got to stop the bleeding here in the second. It's a 5-run, top of the second inning for Corona Del Mar. Blake Butcher, the number 3 batter, third baseman, walked and stole a base his first time up. He stands in the box for Corona Del Mar. O'Neill delivers. That one just a bit high. Ball number 1. Max Lane, who ripped a double to the gap between right and center. He stands at second base for Corona Del Mar. They lead 5-0. 5 hits, all in this inning, 2 home runs for the Sea Kings. And O'Neill, slider just breaks a bit outside of the zone. So he's behind in the count, 2-0 to Blake Butcher. And the Sailors' bats are going to have to come alive if they want to have a shot in this game. Down 5-0 here in the second. Still a lot of game left. 6 more innings for the Sailors, but their bats are going to have to get to work as soon as Newport can find 3 outs here in the top of the second. They've yet to record 1. And O'Neill behind in the count, 3-0 to Blake Butcher. The 3-0 pitch, high. Ball 4, and Christensen had to get his glove up at the last second to keep that thing from beaning the home plate umpire right on the face mask. So now Corona Del Mar has 2 on, nobody out, 5 hits, 5 runs in this top of the second inning, and the cleanup hitter, number 4 right fielder Charlie Manning, steps in for the second time today. He walked and stole a base his first time up in the previous inning. Corona Del Mar has Max Lane on second, Blake Butcher on third, Charlie Manning in the batter's box, and no outs. O'Neill delivers, and apparently it was a bit high or a bit inside, whatever it was a ball number 1 from Will O'Neill. That one ripped deep right center. High, sky, flying ball out of here. Over the right field fence, deep into the recesses of the ENC. Charlie Manning tore the cover off the ball with that hit. And that is the second 3-run blast this inning for Corona Del Mar. Now up 8-0. 8 runs, 6 hits, and no outs recorded here in the top of the second. And O'Neill will be done for the afternoon. Tough outing for the Sailors senior. The future USC Trojan walks back to the dugout, giving up 8 runs, 6 hits through 1 inning for Will O'Neill. And it looks like it'll be Will Hade replacing O'Neill on the mound. Will Hade trying to get out number 1 of the second. We'll take a quick breather while Will Hade warms up. We'll get back to it. Top of the second. 8 runs, 6 hits in this inning for the Sea Kings. Will Hade on the mound for the Sailors when we come back here watching Newport Harbor baseball on TarTV. Welcome back into TarTV. After a quick break, a little warm-up from Sailors pitcher Will Hade. We are right back at it, top of the second. It has not been a good second inning for the Newport Harbor Sailors. Unable to record an out. And the Sea Kings able to knock in 8 runs on 6 hits, no errors. Will O'Neill done for the day. And Will Hade comes in and gets right to work. A swing and a miss. Umpire said it was a foul tip regardless. Hade ahead in the count, 0-1. To Ethan Watson, the left fielder. Flew out to right field his first time up in the previous inning. He watches that one in the dirt for a ball. Count is 1-1 to Ethan Watson. Will Hade has appeared in 11 games this season for the Sailors. No starts, 2-0 on the year, 1 save in 1 save opportunity with a 3.11 ERA. Hade gets that one in there for strike number 2. And the count now to Watson, 1-2. Sea Kings bats, to say they came alive in this inning is an understatement. 3 home runs, 2 of those 3-run shots, and a solo homer by Nico D. Ferdinando. Also, 3-run shot by Ryan Zimmerman and a 3-run shot by Charlie Mannon. And now the count is 2-2 from Hade to Ethan Watson. That one swung, chopped foul up the third base line and into the CDM dugout. Count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two pitch, swung up, missed. A strikeout from Will Hade, and the first out of the second inning feels good for the Newport Harbor Sailors faithful. 8 runs and 6 hits for the Sea Kings before that, and now Will Hade gets Watson swinging. Curveball high and outside, ball number 1. Van Sidebotham stands in for the Sea Kings. He opened up this inning. We've now batted through the whole order. The shortstop opened up this inning with a double. Ended up coming around to score on Zimmerman's 3-run home run. He fouls that one back. Count is 1-1. With 1 out, nobody on. Top second. Breaking ball way outside. 2-1 the count to the Corona Del Mar shortstop. As we've now batted through the whole order. That pitch low in the dirt, and Hade is now behind the count. 3-1. 3-1 pitch from Hade, ripped straight away. Joey Wright can't come over from short to get that one, and that's 2 hits in this inning for the Sea King shortstop, Van Sidebotham. He doubled to open up the inning, and now he stands on first base with a single. And we've batted through the whole order and then some. Jack Salmon, today's DH for Corona Del Mar, the number 7 hitter. Left-handed batter stands in for CDM. He drew a walk his first time up. And Hade's first pitch down outside in the dirt. 1-0 now the count to Salmon. Hade delivers. That one's slow. 2-0 the count. A long inning for Newport Harbor. Just seems to be dragging on into infinity. 7 hits, 8 runs for the Sea Kings in this inning. Hade gets a swing and a miss from Salmon. In Newport, they got to stop the bleeding. They got to get out of the second and get back to their at-bats as Hade looks over at first. Delivers another swing and another miss. Back-to-back swinging strikes Delivered by Will Hade. Jack Salmon. 2 swings, 2 misses, and the count is 2-2. With 1 out, 1 on. Here, top 2, Stuart Fine Field. Will Hade replacing Will O'Neill. And that pitch low and outside. Count is full. O'Neill, the future USC Trojan, one of the aces on this staff for the Sailors. Certainly an outing today that he will want to forget. Hade delivers, and that's a walk. Christensen tried to frame it. Hade tried to paint the outside corner, but it was just a hair outside, and Jack Salmon jogs up the first baseline. 2 appearances in this inning for Salmon and 2 walks, and now Ryan Zimmerman, the center fielder who got this whole thing started for CDM, a 3-run homer earlier this inning. He stands in and watches Hade deliver. If he ripped one deep here, he's got a shot at another 3-run home run. Ryan Zimmerman ahead in the count, 1-0. Hade delivers. It's a ball, 2-0 the count to Ryan Zimmerman. Van Sidebotham on second, Jack Salmon on first for Corona Del Mar. With 1 down and a 2-0 count to the power hitter, Ryan Zimmerman, as Hade delivers. That one fouled straight back. Going to bounce off the top netting for strike number 1. 2-1 now the count to the Corona Del Mar center fielder, Ryan Zimmerman. The number 8 hitter, 1 of 3 Sea Kings to go yard in this inning. Breaking ball high and outside. Christian's got to stand up for that one. And they count 3-1 to Ryan Zimmerman. Sailors would love any kind of out. A double play would be ideal. That one popped straight up in the air. And Joey Wright going to come over towards second base to track it down in the sun and record the second out of the inning. So the Sailors 1 out closer to getting out of an inning that they all would love to erase from their memories forever. 7 hits, 8 runs thus far for the Sea Kings. They still have 2 on. Sidebotham on second and Salmon on first. Nico DiFerdinando stands in, the catcher, the number 9 batter for CDM. With 2 down here, top of the second. Check swing. Doesn't matter. Strike 1. DiFerdinando went yard. A solo shot earlier this inning. As we are still batting through the order and then some. DiFerdinando watches that curveball drop in the zone, strike 2. And Will Hade now ahead in the count, 0-2, 2 down, 2 on, top second. DiFerdinando stands in, and Hade keeps Sidebotham honest at second. The 0-2 pitch to DiFerdinando on the way. Swung on, tipped back. Foul tip. So DiFerdinando stays alive with that foul tip. Count is still 0-2 with 2 on. Brutal inning for the Sailors. They still have 6 innings left of at-bats, but they're going to have to make up some runs quickly. DiFerdinando rips that one towards the gap between left and center. It drops in over the head of Bryce Blazer. 1 run comes around to score. Here comes another one. Jack Salmon touches home right after his teammate Van Sidebotham, and that is a 2-run double to left center by the number 9 batter, Nico DiFerdinando. 3 runs batted in for the catcher this inning. And we're back to the top of the order once again for Corona Del Mar, now leading 10-0. A 10-run second. For CDM here in the Battle of the Bay. What a way to open up your rivalry series if you're the Sea Kings. No hits, couple walks in the first, and then boom, 10 runs on 8 hits in the second. Matt DeCrona, second baseman, number 1 batter for CDM, watches that one in there. Strike number 1, 0-1 the count to DeCrona. Nico DiFernando stands alone on second. Knocking in 3 runs this inning. That one swung on and ripped toward shortstop. Joey Wright jumps in the air to pluck that one from the sky, and the Sailors finally head back to their dugout. What an inning for CDM. 10 runs, 8 hits, no errors, and 1 left on an inning. The Sailors will certainly try to forget. Can Newport's bats come alive and start to chip away at the CDM lead? It's 10-0. We head to the bottom of the second. Sailors are up at bat. When we come back, you're watching Tars Baseball on TarTV. Welcome back into TarTV. We're finally in the bottom of the second. Sailors had a heck of a time getting here. Second inning, CDM put 10 on the board on 8 hits, and Will O'Neill steps in. First pitch swinging, high blooper toward shortstop. Easy work for CDM shortstop Van Sidebotham. We got 1 down already. Here in the bottom of the second, Will O'Neill started the game today for Newport Harbor, and not a great outing for the future USC Trojan. 1 inning, giving up 8 runs on 6 hits, 3 homers for Will O'Neill, but a chance perhaps, potentially, to earn some revenge as a batter in this game. Sam DiCarlo steps in, swings on the second pitch he sees. Throw to first is in time, and 2 up, 2 down. Quick work for Keller Strauss. He struck out 2 in the first, and he's already got 2 down here in the second. I don't even have time to get my notes in order. And we've already got 2 down in the bottom of the second. Trent Leolis stands in for the Sailors. That pitch high and inside, brushes Leolis back a bit. 1-0 the count, the third baseman for the Sailors, batting .246 on the year. 5 home runs, 14 runs batted in. Kind of an all-or-nothing hitter. Is that one going to get stopped by the first baseman? He sprints over to first. Max Lane showing off the speed. Leolis almost beats it out, but it doesn't matter. 3 up, 3 down. 6 batters faced, 6 batters retired for Keller Strauss. And we're headed to the top of the third. I didn't have time to talk about the necessity of the Sailors bats to come alive. They're still asleep, and CDM leads 10-0. No hits, no runs, no errors, nobody left on. But it's a 10-0 Corona Del Mar lead. We head top of the third from Stewart Fond Field. You're watching Battle of the Bay Baseball on TarTV. Welcome back into TarTV, top of the third. Corona Del Mar firmly in control of this game. 10-0, they lead. What an inning that second was as they batted through the order once and then some. Will O'Neill replaced by Will Hade, who remains on the bump for the Sailors. First pitch, curveball in the dirt. 1-0 the count to Max Lane, the first baseman for CDM, leading off this third inning. Already his third at-bat of the afternoon. He flew out to left in the first. Swings, pops that one straight up off the netting for a foul. So 1-1 the count to Lane. He flew out to left in the first, had an RBI double in the second, and already getting his third crack of the bat here in the top of the third. Will O'Neill, tough outing for the future SC Trojan. Just one inning, 8 runs, 6 hits, 3 homers. Will Hade coming in. And he gave up 2 runs of his own. Also dishing out 1 strikeout and 1 inning of relief, and Hade remains on the mound for Newport Harbor. That one ripped toward short. Joey Wright in the dirt. Throw to first. Skips there. It's late. And Max Lane safe with a single. Beautiful defensive stop by Joey Wright to prevent further damage, but Max Lane, as we saw his speed on display at first base at the end of the second, sprinting to get Trent Leolis out. And Lane's on with a single to open up the top of the third. Breaking ball bounces. Christensen recovers. And Blake Butcher, Sea Kings number 3 hitter, the third baseman, ahead in the count 1-0. Will Hade looks over to first. Max Lane, a threat to steal. That one swung on and foul down the first base line. Sea Kings bats have been active today. And the Sailors bats have been active lately. 1 week ago, May 11th, against Laguna Beach, Sailors won 19-5. They then took game number 2 from Laguna, 12-1. That one paints the low outside corner for a strike. 1-2 now the count to Butcher. But Newport scoring last week 31 runs over a 2-game span. They're going to need a performance like that this afternoon if they want to come back in this Battle of the Bay. Hade's pitch swung on. Fly ball high in the air towards center field. Gonna drop right over the outfield wall, right underneath the Stewart Fine baseball field sign, and that is a 2-run blast from the Butcher, Blake Butcher, making mincemeat of this Sailors defense. Every Sea King, it seems like, having some fun today. So 12-0 now. the score in favor of Corona Del Mar. As Blake Butcher has himself a 2-run shot. Will Hade stands, delivers, and he's ahead in the count 0-1 to Charlie Mannon. Mannon, ground ball towards first. Hade trying to cover, can't get there in time. Charlie Mannon beats that out, and when it rains, it pours for the Sailors. They can't seem to catch a break. The breaks of the game going against them in this one from Stuart Fine Field, their home field. And the Sea Kings have another runner on. They haven't stranded many here today. Usually when Corona Del Mar gets one on, they knock them home. So Charlie Mannon on with a single in the third. That one swung on, ripped towards left field, caught on the run for out number 1 of the inning. That was Ethan Watson. And with one down here in the top of the third, the number 6 batter, the shortstop Van Sidebotham, stands in for Corona Del Mar. 2 for 2 on the day, a double in the second, another single in the second. And he's going to get hit by that pitch. Curveball ran inside. Sidebotham jogs up to first, and he's on. So Corona Del Mar having no problem getting runners on the base paths this afternoon. 10 hits in this game. By my count, 4 or 5 walks, and now a hit by pitch. So if my math is correct, 16 base runners today for CDM, 12 runs. They lead 12-0. And Jack Salmon, the DH, the number 7 batter, will stand in. Walked twice in the second inning. This will be his 3rd plate appearance today. He's got runners on second and first. Like I said, CDM not struggling to send guys home. They have touched home plate 12 times in this game. Corona Del Mar, 5-1 in league, 15-5 on the season. A good campaign from head coach Kevin McCaffrey's squad over across the bay. That one hit towards James Kroll at second. He throws to second, and the throw to first is I'm trying to see. I'm looking for a sign from the first base umpire. I guess it was not in time. So Jack Salmon showing that speed down the first base line, able to beat out the double play. Nice flip from Kroll, the second baseman, over to right, covering second, and it's just 1 out, not 2. Ryan Zimmerman, the center fielder, 2 for 2 on the afternoon. Gets his 3rd at-bat. He had a 3-run blast to put the first points on the board today for the Sea Kings. He then singled later in the second. And now he's behind in the count 0-2. So perhaps finally Will Hade able to send Ryan Zimmerman back to the dugout. Twice Zimmerman has stood in, and twice he's come around to score. Once on a home run, once after a single. The 0-2 pitch, high and outside, ball number 1. To Ryan Zimmerman, who has runners on the corners. Charlie Mannon stands at third. Jack Salmon leading off of first, and now Salmon going to sprint into second as Christensen had to trap that one in the dirt, couldn't get the throw off in time. And now Corona Del Mar with 2 runners in scoring position here, top of the 3rd inning. Leading 12-0. 10 runs in the second, now 2 in the third. Zimmerman, chopper towards short. Right, tracks it down, throws on the run. That is in time for the out. Joey Wright, the web gem at shortstop, gets the Sailors out of that inning. CDM adds 2, but the Sailors escape further damage. 12-0. Cornet Omar leads this one. They leave 2 on. Runners stranded on second and third, but not before they get 2 runs. 12-0, they lead on 10 hits. No errors we had. Bottom of the third. Sailors trying to scratch, claw, fight their way back in this game. We'll have Sailors at bat. When we come back, you're watching Tars Baseball on TarTV. We'll go back into TarTV. James Kroll, senior second baseman, leading things off here in the bottom of the third. First at bat of the afternoon for Kroll, seeking some revenge, the football captain wide receiver. After the Sailors lost 3-0 in the Battle of the Bay football, they now find themselves in a bigger deficit in the baseball game than they ever faced in the football game, down 12-0. Kroll, patient, watches those first 2 pitches from Strauss go down and outside, and he's ahead in the count 2-0. Kroll batting .333 on the season. A mighty cut there by Mr. Kroll, misses. The count's 2-1. James Kroll, 5 runs batted in on the season. That one, chopper up the first base line. Kroll trying to turn on the Jets and beat it out. Can he get there? No. Max Lane covers in time. James Kroll speedy on the base paths, but the advantage there certainly going to CDM first baseman Max Lane. He covers, and that is the first out of the third inning. Troy Christensen, Sailors catcher, first-year varsity player, will get his first cuts of the afternoon. The number 2 batter here of the third inning. Curveball from Strauss. Drops out of the zone. Ball number 1 to Christensen. Troy Christensen watches that one tag the outside corner. 1-1 the count. Batting .239 on the season. 6 runs batted in. And even on the strikeout and walk ratio, 7 strikeouts, 7 walks. Christensen gets a piece of that one. And on a frozen rope, drives it into right field. Sailors get their first hit of the afternoon finally. CDM has 10. Sailors now have 1 hit, that is. And it's Troy Christensen on with a single with 1 down here in the bottom of the third. Christensen, 12th hit of the season, his 10th single, and he stands on first base as Joey Wright stands in the batter's box for the first time today, watches that curveball from Strauss drop into the zone for strike number 1. Joey Wright, a beautiful defensive play to end the top part of this inning. But now he finds himself looking at the wrong end of an 0-2 count. He's got his catcher, Christensen, leading off at first. Joey Wright batting .353 on the season, stands in as Strauss gets ready to deliver. The 0-2 pitch, outside, 1-2 now the count to shortstop Joey Wright. Swing and a miss from Wright, and he is sitting home, packing back to the dugout. Third strikeout of the afternoon for CDM pitcher, Keller Strauss, who really hasn't been tested much this afternoon. Giving up just 1 hit, no runs, 3 Ks, and he retired the first 7 batters he faced. Now, finally, Sailors back to the top of the order. Bryce Blazer stands in for Newport. Blazer struck out looking in his first at-bat. That one way outside from Strauss. And Blazer gets ahead in the count 1-0. Keller Strauss, the Corona Del Mar pitcher, caught his first 2 batters he faced, Stoll and here Bryce Blazer. Both of them struck out looking. Some absolutely filthy stuff from Keller Strauss this afternoon. And we'll see if the Sailors' bats can start to make some contact. Strauss delivers. Check swing from Blazer. Doesn't matter. Strike number 1. 1-1 the count with 2 down. And Troy Christensen, the catcher, standing on first for the Sailors here in the bottom of the third. 12-0. CDM firmly in control of the opening game of the Battle of the Bay series. Strauss delivers. High curveball swung on. High sky and fly ball towards center field, and it's going to drop for a hit. Bryce Blazer sprinting towards third. He's going for 3. No. He's going to jog back to second. He would have had 3, but Christensen was stopped at third. And I think Coach Chalmers, talking it over with his catcher Christensen at third, is telling him he wanted him to go home. Blazer, full steam ahead, was rounding second, had to go back. And he'll jog over to the first base coach, hand his gloves to him. But Bryce Blazer on with a beautiful double. CDM center fielder Ryan Zimmerman went airborne, laid out for that one, couldn't get it. And now the Sailors' bats starting to wake up here in the third inning. 2 hits in this inning, still trailing 12-0. Cade Stoll in. That one bounces, and that tagged Stoll on the foot. So Caden Stoll going to walk up the first base line. He's on hit by pitch. Ninth time. My goodness. Caden Stoll has a knack for getting hit by the ball. 9th hit by pitch this season for Stoll. And the Sailors have the bases juiced with 2 down. And Jackson Gillis up at bat. 21 runs batted in, 4 homers for Gillis. He swings, chopper towards shortstop. Throw over to second. In time, Stoll can't get there. It's a force out at second base, and CDM escapes the jam. Sailors got the bases loaded. They couldn't have come away with any runs. 3 left on, 2 hits. No errors, no runs, and CDM still leads 12-0. We head top of the 4th. Corona Del Mar at bat. When we come back, you're watching Battle of the Bay Baseball on TarTV. Welcome back into TarTV. It's the top of the fourth inning. Sailors are in a hole, a big one, a massive one. And that one is swung on and ripped to left field. Nico DiFerdinando, the number 9 hitter, is on with a single. DiFerdinando, don't look now, but the catcher for CDM is a triple away from hitting for the cycle in this game. And he'll have a few more cracks at it as we're in the top of the fourth. And that is already Nico DiFerdinando's third at-bat of the day. He is 3 for 3, a solo home run, a 2-run double, and now a single. 12-0, CDM leads. Will Hade remains on the mound for the Sailors, replacing the starter, Will O'Neill. Tough outing for Mr. O'Neill. And now Will Hade has a runner on first. Swung on, ripped towards left field. That one's going to drop foul, but Corona Del Mar bats, making good contact. We're back to the top of the order. Matt DeCrona, the second baseman, standing in for the Sea Kings. Count is 1-1 to DeCrona. As his catcher, number 9 hitter, Nico DiFerdinando, stands on first. DeCrona. Two for 2 today. Or sorry, 2 for 3. Struck out in his first at-bat, the first at-bat of the afternoon, and at that point you thought, okay, things are going well for the Sailors in this one. And since then, the wheels have come off for Newport Harbor. DeCrona, a single in the second and a single in the third. Curveball from Hade, tags the upper outside corner. And he's ahead in the count now, 1-2. And the sprinklers pop on momentarily here on the infield. The ump will call time, and when it rains, it pours, quite literally in this game for the Sailors. Maybe, hopefully, that can be some sort of an omen of some kind of good luck or positivity for Newport Harbor. They can use any kind of break they can get. That one bounces in the dirt. Christensen jogs up to grab it off the infield. And DiFerdinando trots into second base with a stolen base. I don't know if that'll be a wild pitch or a passed ball, but either way now, the Sea Kings with nobody out. Top of the fourth have a runner in scoring position. Count is even 2-2 to DeCrona. Hade delivers. 2-2 pitch swung on. High fly ball in the gap between center and left field. It goes over the head of Bryce Blazer. DiFerdinando sprinting towards home. He touches home. Another run. Lucky number 13 for the Sea Kings tally. And DeCrona knocks in a run to open up the top of the fourth. Corona Del Mar just adding to their lead. Everything has come easy for the Sea Kings today. One of the afternoons you want to forget if you're a fan of Tar baseball, and for the Sea Kings in a rivalry game. The baseball team currently leading the Sailors by more than the football team ever did in this last Battle of the Bay football game. Hade's pitch in the dirt. DeCrona sprints into third. And he'll be in there, standing up at third with a stolen base. Nobody out. Max Lane is the batter for Corona Del Mar. Max Lane hit an RBI double in the second. Flew out to left to open up the game. And he's ahead in the count 1-0 here in the top of the fourth. With his teammate Max DeCrona standing on third base. The pitch from Hade. Trapped down in the dirt by Christensen. A 2-0 count to Max Lane. Pitch from Hade. Ground ball, just gonna, Joey Wright gonna stop it from getting past the infield, but not in time to make the throw as DeCrona comes around to score. It's an RBI single for Max Lane. 14-0 now. CDM leads. And Will Hade's day is done. Hade heads back to the dugout for the Sailors. We'll get a new pitcher here momentarily. As Hade went 2 innings, giving up 6 runs for the Sailors. 2 innings, 6 runs, and 1 strikeout for Will Hade. As we get our new pitcher, Luke Jones warming up. We'll take a quick breather. Luke Jones on the mound. Sailors in a 14-0 hole, top of the 4th inning. Battle of the Bay. When we come back, Sea Kings still at bat. You're watching Newport Harbor Tars baseball on TarTV. Welcome back into TarTV, top of the 4th inning. Sailors find themselves looking at the wrong end of a football score. 14-0, CDM leads, and a new pitcher, 3rd of the game for Newport Harbor, Luke Jones. On the bump for the Sailors, making his first appearance this season. And that one tags the inside corner. 1-1 the count to the Corona Del Mar 3rd baseman, Blake Butcher, who hit a 2-run moonshot his last time up, 1 for 1 on the day, walked in the 1st, walked in the 2nd, and in the 3rd, 2-run home run. Now in the 4th, Blake Butcher finds himself in the hole 1-2. Luke Jones trying to do what he can on the mound to help the Sailors get out of this jam of a game. That one foul tipped straight back towards us. Blake Butcher staying alive. His teammate Max Lane, the first baseman, stands on first base for CDM. 2 runs in this inning for the Sea Kings, 2 runs in the previous inning, and 10 runs in the top of the 2nd. 13 hits today for CDM compared to the Sailors, 2. Jones delivers. That one paints the outside corner. Caught him looking. Blake Butcher going to walk back to the CDM dugout, and the Sailors get their first out of the 4th inning. Luke Jones comes in, and the first batter he's faced this season gets Blake Butcher struck out looking. Jones delivers, pitch inside in the dirt, gets past Christensen, and Max Lane going to move over to second base on the wild pitch. So now a runner in scoring position. That is the speedy Max Lane on second for Corona Del Mar, with the number 4 batter, the cleanup batter, Charlie Mannon, in for his 4th at-bat of the day. Mannon 2 for 2 this afternoon. Walked in the 1st, a 3-run home run in the 2nd, and then a single in the 3rd. Great day for the Corona Del Mar Sea Kings to improve their batting averages, and a terrible day for Newport Harbor pitching staff ERAs. And that is a hit by pitch. Jones lost control of that one a little bit, and Charlie Mannon After getting tagged by the pitch, up to first. Runners on the corners now, or correction. That is Max Lane still on second. He was getting ready to sprint to third on the wild pitch, but it was in fact a hit by pitch. So he'll stay on second. Lane on second. Mannon on first. One down. And 2 runs in this inning for CDM. That pitch from Jones a bit high to Ethan Watson. The left fielder, Watson, number 5 hitter this afternoon for CDM. And Watson, the lone Sea King, yet to get a hit. 0 for 3 is Ethan Watson. Flew out to right field in the first, struck out in the second, and another fly out in the third. So he is the odd man out here for the CDM offense. And the count is 1-1, now 1-2. Right down the pipe. Luke Jones dealing. Here in the top of the fourth. 1-2 the count to Watson. 1 down, swung on, chopped sharply, foul. A lot of gas on that one, right towards the CDM dugout. I don't think anyone got tagged by that. So Ethan Watson staying alive. Luke Jones trying to get second strikeout of the inning, second strikeout of the season for him. And hoping to move the Sailors close to getting out of another inning, which they've given up some runs. The 1-2 pitch swung on and missed. Ethan Watson, good night. He heads back to the dugout. 0 for 4 on the day, the lone Sea King. Yet to get a hit or get on base. And Van Sidebotham, the shortstop, stands in for Corona Del Mar. Runners on first and second, and Luke Jones getting right back to work. The Sailors pitcher with 2 strikeouts in this inning is now ahead 0-1 in the count to Sidebotham. And that pitch paints the outside corner. Strike number 2. Luke Jones working quickly, trying to get out of this inning. His first appearance of the season, Luke Jones has 2 strikeouts. He's ahead 0-2 in the count to Van Sidebotham. The CDM shortstop stands in. Jones delivers. Swung on. Chopper up past second base. Past Joey Wright at short. And that will juice the bases for CDM. As Will O'Neill in center throws that one in, and the bases are loaded for Corona Del Mar. Sidebotham in with a single for the Sea Kings. His good day continues. 3 for 3. A double, 2 singles, and a hit by pitch. We are down now to our number 7 batter. Number 39, the designated hitter, Jack Salmon. Salmon 0 for 1 this afternoon. Walked twice in the second, grounded out in the third. Now getting his 4th at-bat of the day with a teammate on each base. That one a bit high from Jones. One and 0 the count to Salmon. Jones delivers, swung on, hit right up the middle, and that'll bring a run around to score. Charlie Mannon touches home plate for the Sea Kings. And the score now 15-0 in favor of the team from across the bay. Game 1 of the Battle of the Bay Series. Here at Newport Harbor High School, CDM leads 15-0. Or correction, 16-0. I guess a run snuck in there that I didn't see. There's been so many in this game that it is truly hard to keep track. That one swung on softly towards James Kroll at second. He fields it on the run. Throw to first is in time, and we are out. of the top of the fourth, but not before the Sea Kings add 4 more to their total. 16-0. They lead. 15 hits, no errors, and 2 left on for Corona Del Mar. We head to the bottom of the fourth, the Battle of the Bay. Sailors bats. Time to wake up. We'll have the Tars at bat. When we come back, you're watching Battle of the Bay Baseball on TarTV. Welcome back into TarTV. Will O'Neill at bat for the Sailors. He's 0 for 1 on the day, flew out in the second, and he swings the first pitch he sees, misses that. It's a foul tip back. It's strike number 1, 2. The center fielder and today's starting pitcher, Will O'Neill, who had a forgettable day on the mound. Let's see if he can make up for it in the batter's box. Patient eye by the future USC Trojan watches that one. Low and outside for ball number 1. 1-1 the count to O'Neill, batting just under 300 on the season. And that pitch from Strauss tags the inside edge of the strike zone. 1-2 the count to the Sailors' leadoff batter here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Will O'Neill, 17 hits, pretty evenly distributed between singles and doubles. He's got 3 home runs on the season, and that one goes way outside. Count is even at 2-2. Keller Strauss, 3 strikeouts on the day for the CDM pitcher, working quickly. And he throws that one. Curveball swung on, chopped over towards the Sailors' dugout. Foul. O'Neill stays alive, adjusts his batting gloves, and tries to do something to get some kind of a rally started here in the bottom of the fourth. Sailors have 16 runs to make up. Down 16-0. 2 hits on the day. Swing and in the dirt. A miss from O'Neill, and Keller Strauss gets his 4th K of the afternoon. And Sam DiCarlo stands in the batter's box for the Sailors. 0 for 1 today. Grounded out in the second. And he'll try to get a hit off of Strauss, who's only given up 2 to the Sailors this afternoon. First pitch from Strauss, hit foul down the third base line. It'll be tracked down by Sailors head coach Evan Chalmers. And DiCarlo behind in the count, 0-1. Oh, pitch to DiCarlo. Painted the lower inside corner. Strike number 2. Strauss working quickly. Dealing this afternoon. The Sea Kings pitcher, Keller Strauss. That one swung on. Hit right towards the third baseman. Throw goes in time. DiCarlo thrown out at first. So 2 up, 2 down. Opening up the bottom of the fourth for the Sailors. Blake Butcher at third for CDM. Catching that one on the hop and throwing to first in plenty of time. As standing in for the Sailors, the number 6 batter, third baseman, number 8, Trent Leolis. Grounded out to first in his first plate appearance in the second inning. And Strauss working so quick. I look down at my notes, I look up, the count is 1-1. That one swung on by Leolis. High fly ball towards deep right field. It's going back towards the wall. That one is gone. A solo shot for Trent Leolis. And finally, the Sailors slice just barely into this lead, but they are on the board. 1 run on a solo shot by Trent Leolis, his 6th of the season. Touch 'em all. Sailors' third baseman. They got a lot of work to do, but it's got to feel good for Newport Harbor, for Trent Leolis to finally get something on the board. 16-1 now the score. And James Kroll stands in the batter's box for Newport Harbor, the second baseman, the football captain, looking down a 15-point deficit. Keep in mind, Sailors football team, they lost the Battle of the Bay by 3. So this is a bigger deficit in the baseball Battle of the Bay than the football one. And James Kroll, I talked to him before the game, asked him how he was feeling. He told me salty. Still upset about that 3-point loss in the Battle of the Bay just a little bit over a month ago. And he stands in the batter's box, swings at the first pitch he sees. Bloop single, high fly ball towards center field. I got ahead of myself, not a single. Caught on the run by Ryan Zimmerman, shielding the sun out of his eyes. He catches it. And that does it for the bottom of the 4th. Sailors get 1 run on 1 hit, a solo shot by Trent Leolis. Newport's on the board, still trailing by 15, 16-1. Corona Del Mar leads. We will have the Sea Kings at bat, top of the 5th. When we come back, you're watching Newport Harbor Baseball on TarTV. Welcome back into TarTV. Top of the 5th, CDM leading 16-1. Luke Jones remains on the mound for the Sailors, the 3rd pitcher of the afternoon for Newport Harbor. Will O'Neill got the start. Will Haid replaced him. Now Luke Jones coming in and trying to keep this thing, well, it feels almost silly to say this, but try to keep this thing as close as possible. He inherited a 16-run Corona Del Mar lead. It's now a 15-run lead after the solo home run by Trent Leolis in the previous inning. And Nico Di Ferdinando stands in for CDM. That one's high for a ball, so 1-2 the count from Jones to Di Ferdinando. The number 9 batter for CDM, the catcher, has a home run, a double, and a single in his 3 at-bats today. That one tags him on the ankle. Curveball low, too low, inside, and Di Ferdinando reaches to open up the 5th on a hit by pitch. So the CDM number 9 batter, the catcher, still a triple away from hitting for the cycle in this game. He should get another at-bat, most likely. Needs that triple to complete the cycle, but what a day for him regardless. 3 for 3. Solo home run, 2-run double, a single, now on with a hit by pitch. And we're back to the top of the order for Corona Del Mar. Matt DeCrona, the second baseman, who led off the game for CDM, will have his 5th at-bat of the afternoon. First pitch from Jones. Curveball inside, strike number one. DeCrona, 3 for 4 today. Struck out in the first inning. First at-bat of the game. Struck out swinging, and since then he got a single, and an RBI double. And now he's behind on the count 0-2. So Luke Jones making his first pitching appearance of the season for Newport Harbor. He's got a couple of strikeouts, a couple of hits given up, but doing his best to stop the bleeding in this opening game one of the Battle of the Bay. DeCrona swings on that one, hits it towards deep left center field. It goes over the left fielder's head, going to drop for a base hit. So DeCrona in with a double. His second double of the day. D. Ferdinando advances to third, and now the Sea Kings have runners on second and third with nobody out, top of the fifth. And there will be a meeting on the mound. Luke Jones' day is done. He gave up 3 hits. And I'm not sure if he gave up 1 or 2 runs. Well, he didn't give up 2 because he inherited some runners from Will Hade. So I'll try to get the official stats there. But Luke Jones' day is done. And we'll have a new pitcher on the mound for Newport Harbor. It looks like it'll be number 24, Cole Levin, who hasn't pitched in a lot of games this season. But down 15, top of the fifth, Battle of the Bay. Why not mix things up a bit? Cole Levin going to warm up on the hill for the Sailors, and we'll have the rest of the fifth inning when we come back. Sailors trail by 15, 16-1, and runners on second and third for CDM. You're watching Battle of the Bay Baseball on TarTV. Welcome back into TarTV. Cole Levin on the mound for the Sailors, making just his second appearance this season. The former Newport Harbor football quarterback, Tar football quarterback, just 1 inning pitched this year, 2 strikeouts, no runs, and no hits given up for Mr. Levin, making just his second appearance this season. He stands in and inherits runners on second and third. First pitch from Levin, high for ball number 1. Max Lane, the batter for Corona Del Mar, the first baseman. I can say this about pretty much every Sea King today. Max Lane having himself a good afternoon. His team leading by 15, 16-1. And he's ahead in the count 1-0 to Levin. That pitch in there, strike number 1 from Cole Levin. So 1-1 the count to Lane, who had an RBI single his previous at-bat in the 4th inning. Flew out to left in the first, had an RBI double in the second. The count 1-1 with nobody out to Max Lane. That one fouled straight up in the air, dropping for out number 1 of the inning. Joey Wright coming over to track that down just inside the third base line. So at first glance, it looked like it was going to be foul, but it's certainly would have been fair if it dropped. It's out number 1. And Blake Butcher up at bat for Corona Del Mar. Butcher struck out looking. His previous at bat last inning. That pitch by Levin paints the outside corner. Strike number 1. Matt DeCrona stands on second base. Nico DiFerdinando stands on third. Cole Levin looks over to second, looks over to third. And now delivers, trapped to the dirt by Christensen. Ball one. 1-1 the count to Blake Butcher. Butcher walked in the first, walked in the second, and hit a 2-run blast in the third. So 1 for 2 today, Blake Butcher. Swings and chops that one foul down the first base line. Fielded by Sam DiCarlo, who's now playing first for the Sailors. Count is 1-2 to Blake Butcher. CDM leading 16-1. 16 runs on 16 hits. Here, top of the fifth. The 1-2 pitch from Levin. Fastball outside. Thing had some heat on it. Butcher patient. Count is even at 2-2. 2-2 pitch from Levin. That one outside. The patience of Blake Butcher paying off, and he has run the count full. For being down 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's now 3 balls, 2 strikes with 1 down. Runners on second and third. Top of the fifth. For the CDM, third baseman. Struck out looking. Luke Jones struck him out in the previous inning. Levin gets him swinging. Swing and a miss. And Blake Butcher is out number 2 in the top of the fifth inning. Cole Levin comes in. So far, 2 quick outs for the 4th pitcher of the day for Newport Harbor. Cole Levin making just his 2nd appearance of the season. And now Charlie Mannon stands in for CDM, left-handed batter. Hit by pitch, his previous time up. Cole Levin right down the pipe, strike number 1. Charlie Mannon walked in the first, stole a base, hit a 3-run homer in the second, single in the third, and hit by pitch in the previous inning. He swings and rips that one down the right field line. That one's gone. A 3-run blast for Charlie Mannon, his 2nd 3-run home run of the afternoon. Straight down the right field line, just inside the foul pole. Charlie Mannon goes yard, and the Sea Kings add to their tally. 19 runs on 17 hits in game number 1 of the Battle of the Bay, a game that every Newport Harbor player, coach, fan, family member, neighbor, viewer will want to forget, erase from their memory as soon as this thing's over, maybe even sooner. That one swung on. High fly ball. Fly out to end the inning from Ethan Watson. That does it. In the top of the fifth, but CDM, they get 3 more. They scored 10 in the second, 2 in the third, 4 in the fourth, and now 3 in the fifth. And the Sea Kings lead game 1 of the 3-game Battle of the Bay series, 19-1 over the Sailors. It'll be the Sailors at bat. When we come back, you're watching Newport Harbor Baseball on TarTV. Welcome back into TarTV. Bottom of the 5th inning. Sailors in an 18-run hole. It would be quite the rally for Newport Harbor to come back. Troy Christensen, leadoff batter here. Bottom of the 5th, first pitch. Inside for ball number 1, a new pitcher on the mound for CDM, Braden Friedman. On the bump now for the Sea Kings. It's Keller Strauss in great position to pick up the win in this Battle of the Bay game. He went 4 innings strong, giving up 1 run on 3 hits. Two and 1 now the count to Sailors catcher Troy Christensen. 1 for 1 on the afternoon. Had the Sailors' first hit of the day, one of their 3 hits, a single in the 3rd inning. And that one low and inside for ball number 3. 3 and 1 the count now to Troy Christensen. 3-1 pitch inside, ball 4. And Christensen, he's on again. 2 plate appearances. 2 appearances on the base paths for the Sailors catcher. And Newport Harbor has a runner on with nobody out. To lead off the bottom of the 5th inning, Joey Wright, number 22, the shortstop, stands in for the Sailors. Wright makes contact with that one. Fly ball towards left field, gonna drop. Over the head of Ethan Watson. Christensen trots over to third, and Joey Wright in at second base with a stand-up double. And the Sailors have 2 runners in scoring position. And we're back to the top of the order from Stuart Fine Field. Newport Harbor has quite a hill to climb. An 18-run deficit, but Newport Harbor's got 2 on, nobody out, and Bryce Blazer back in the batter's box for Newport. Swings the first pitch he sees. Chopper towards the second baseman. Throw to first in time, but a run will come through to score for the Sailors. Christensen taps home plate, so he comes around to score a run, and Joey Wright is in at third. So Bryce Blazer on the sacrifice. Grounds out to second, but gets an RBI. His 17th of the year, Blazer. And the Sailors pick up a run here in the bottom of the 5th. 17-run deficit now for Newport. 19-2, CDM leads. Joey Wright stands on second. And Caden Stoll swings at that one, rips it up straight away in the gap. And he'll get in at first with a single. Joey Wright comes around from third to score. Sailors pick up 2. So the 18-run CDM lead is now a 16-run lead for the Sea Kings, and Big Jackson Gillis steps up to the plate for the Sailors. He's got Caden Stoll at first. Gillis 0 for 2 today. Grounded out in his previous at-bat. Batting .369 on the year. 4 home runs. 21 runs batted in for Gillis. Checks a swing on that one. Doesn't matter. Paints the outside corner for strike 1. 1-1 the count now to Jackson Gillis, DHing today. And Sam DiCarlo playing first. Caden Stoll leads off from first. And that pitch outside for ball number 2. 2-1 the count now to Jackson Gillis. 1 down, 1 on, and 2 runs tallied for the Sailors here in the bottom of the 5th for Stuart Fine Field. Two 2-1 pitch. Patient from Gillis. Watches it down in the dirt for ball 3. The count, 3 balls, 1 strike to Jackson Gillis. 2 runs in this inning for the Sailors, as Gillis rips that one to opposite field, deep, far back over the W in Newport in left field. And that's a 2-run shot for Jackson Gillis. Sailors bats finally waking up here in the bottom of the 5th inning and tally 2 more to Newport's total. An 18-run deficit becomes a 14-run deficit. Stoll touches home. Gillis comes around. And 19-5. Now your score in favor of the Sea Kings in the Battle of the Bay. A 4-run bottom of the 5th inning thus far for Newport Harbor. And Austin Lewick getting his first at-bat of the afternoon, replacing Will O'Neill. Austin Lewick batting .083 on the season, just 1 hit, a single, 7 strikeouts, 3 walks, 2 runs batted in for the Sailors' right-handed batter, Austin Lewick. And he pops that one straight up. And it's going to drop for a single. Austin Lewick on at first. Miscommunication from the Sea Kings. And the pitcher, Braden Friedman, stumbled a bit on the mound. And it dropped in there. An infield single for Austin Lewick. Just his 2nd hit of the season. That'll help his batting average. And Sam DiCarlo steps in the batter's box for the Sailors. First pitch inside. Gets past D. Ferdinando, but Lewick stays on first. DiCarlo 0 for 2 today. Grounded out in the 2nd, grounded out in the 4th. Batting .283 on the season, 9 runs batted in. No home runs for today's first baseman, Sam DiCarlo. And that pitch from Friedman inside. Count is 2-0 with 1 down and 1 on. Austin Lewick stands on first for the Sailors. Here in the bottom of the 5th, best inning offensively thus far this afternoon for Newport Harbor as they've tallied 4 runs. Of course, they still trail by 14. But good to see some of the boys in navy blue come around to touch home. Good to see a home run from Jackson Gillis. 2 Sailors going yard in this game. Gillis and Trent Leolis had a solo shot earlier. Now DiCarlo fouls that one for strike number 2. 2-2 the count to the Sailors' first baseman, DiCarlo, who will also DH and will also come in and pitch, so he does it all. Sam DiCarlo, the junior, first-year varsity player, right-handed pitcher, first baseman, swings, pops that one up towards right field, and it's going to be caught on the run. What a grab by Matt DeCrona, laying out and sending Sam DiCarlo frustrated back to the Sailors' dugout. DeCrona lost his cap on that one. Beautiful defensive play. Coming all the way over from second base to lay out just inside the first base line. And Austin Lewick remains alone on first. Now 2 down. Bottom of the 5th from Stuart Finefield. Trent Leolis stands in for the Sailors. Solo home run his last time up. 1 for 2 on the afternoon. Trent Leolis, his 6th homer of the season. Sailors' third baseman batting .246. 14 runs batted in for the junior. And Sea Kings catcher Nico D. Fernando getting some dirt in his eye, so he's taking off the tools of ignorance and picking some of the dirt out of his eye there. Now we're reset, good to go. 1-1 the count to Trent Leolis. 2 down, 1 on. 4 runs in the bottom of the 5th here for Newport Harbor. Friedman delivers. Leolis swing and a miss for the Sailors' third baseman. 1-2 now the count to the Newport Harbor junior. Leolis staying alive, fouls that one up over the back wall here towards the pool deck. That one going to drop in on water polo practice. Head coach Ross Sinclair over there, I'm sure, coaching away the boys and the girls teams. And Leolis stays alive. 1-2 the count. Here, bottom of the 5th, Friedman delivers. Leolis fouls that one. Or actually, no, it's way down the third base line. And it will drop. So it is foul. Count still 1-2 to Trent Leolis. Can't tell who that was from CDM. Someone sprinted way over there trying to track that thing down on the run. Drops foul. I think that was the shortstop, Van Sidebotham, showing off the speed. Doesn't matter. Leolis still alive. Austin Lewick on first. Sailors down 19-5. That one paints the outside corner. Trent Leolis retired. Struck out looking. And that will end the 5th inning for the Sailors. They pick up 4 runs. Leave 1 runner on. 7 hits total in this game for the Sailors. They still trail by 14. 19-5. Score favors the Sea Kings. And we head to the top of the 6th. Sea Kings at bat when we come back. You're watching Newport Harbor Baseball on TarTV. Welcome back into TarTV. Top of the 6th inning. Sailors slice into the Sea Kings lead. It's still a 14-run deficit for Newport Harbor. 19-5. Corona Del Mar scoring 10 runs in the top of the 2nd inning. That blew this thing open. They've added runs in every inning since then. Cole Levin remains on the hill for Newport Harbor. First pitch just a bit high and outside for ball number 1. To Dennis Fitzpatrick, getting his first at-bat of the afternoon. Fitzpatrick fouls that one straight back with some velocity. Count 1-1. Cole Levin, the 4th pitcher this afternoon for the Sailors. Will O'Neill got the start, went 1 inning, giving up 6 hits, 8 earned runs, 1 strikeout, 4 walks. 3 of those hits were home runs, so forgettable outing for the future USC Trojan. He was replaced by Will Hade, who went 2 innings strong. 55 pitches for Hade, 7 hits, 7 earned runs for him. Luke Jones came in and pitched an inning. He gave up 3 earned runs, and Cole Levin has given up 1 hit, 1 earned run, 1 strikeout, and that 1 hit was a home run. So Cole Levin, 1 inning, and he's evened up this count 2-2 to Dennis Fitzpatrick. 2-2 pitch from Levin is swung on. Little blooper towards first base. Easy money for Sam DiCarlo. Out number 1 of the inning. So Fitzpatrick in his first plate appearance. Gentle fly out to first. And we'll get another first-time batter for Corona Del Mar, Hayden Hill. Stepping up to the plate for the first time today. As our home plate umpire makes note of the substitution. First we had Dennis Fitzpatrick getting his first cuts of the afternoon. Fly out to first now. Hayden Hill stands in for the Sea Kings. Corona Del Mar leading by 14, 19-5. Score favors CDM. That pitch, right over the top of Hayden Hill's head. He had to duck, or he might have been beheaded on that fastball from Levin. 1-0 the count to Hayden Hill. Second pitch from Levin. Swung on and missed. Some chin music there inside from Levin, the high heat. Hayden Hill stepping into the batter's box for the first time and facing a pitch right at his head and some high inside heat. That one swung on and a whiff from Hayden Hill. Levin comes right back down the middle on that pitch and is ahead in the count 1-2. Just the second appearance on the pitcher's mound this season for Cole Levin. And he delivers the 1-2 pitch. Curveball swung on, hit towards left field. Caught on the run for out number 2. So 2 up, 2 down. 2 new batters for the Sea Kings in this inning. First, Dennis Fitzpatrick. Now Hayden Hill. 2 flyouts, 1 to first, 1 to left field. And we're back to the Corona Del Mar number 8 hitter, number 27 center fielder Ryan Zimmerman, who got this whole thing started with a 3-run home run in the second, and since then Corona Del Mar has not looked back, scoring runs in every inning thus far. Cole Levin trying to change the Sailors' fortunes in that regard. First pitch gets the outside corner for strike number 1. 0-1 the count now to Zimmerman. Levin skips that one down in the dirt. Ball number 1. 1-1 the count to the Corona Del Mar center fielder, Ryan Zimmerman. One of many Corona Del Mar Sea Kings having themselves a day that will certainly help their offensive stats in every category. Zimmerman 1 for 4, scoring a run and knocking in 3. That one paints the low outside corner. Strike number 2, Cole Levin. Trying to make this the first frame since the start of the game with no Sea Kings runs. They scored 10 in the second, 2 in the third, 4 in the fourth, 3 in the fifth. And they've got 2 down, 1-2 the count to Ryan Zimmerman here. Cole Levin deals. Swung on and missed. 3 up, 3 down. Cole Levin fans Ryan Zimmerman. And we head to the bottom of the 6th. The Sailors with an inkling of momentum. Is it too little, too late? Perhaps. But we'll get another shot of those Sailors bats when we come back. No hits, no runs, no errors. Nobody left on for CDM. Bottom of the 6th awaits. You're watching Newport Harbor Sailors baseball on TarTV. Welcome back into TarTV. Alex Crawford with you here live from Stuart Fine Baseball Field. Bottom of the 6th inning. Sailors in quite the deficit, but after not scoring in the first 3 innings, they add 1 run in the bottom of the 4th. Now 4 more in the bottom of the 5th. And Ryan Smith stands in the batter's box. First time today for the Sailors. That Smith will get a crack at it. First one. Misses everything. 1-0 the count. Also new pitcher on the mound for CDM, Hayden Hill. Makes his first appearance today. Smith watches that one. Slider just inside the strike zone for strike number 1. 1-1 the count to Ryan Smith. Smith swings at that one, hits it foul back towards the ENC. It's going to drop. So Smith will stay alive. CDM first baseman Max Lane going over into foul territory, trying to track it down, can't get there. And the count is 1-2 to Ryan Smith. Keller Strauss started the game for CDM. 4 innings, 48 pitches, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts. And Strauss was dealing at times for CDM. Hill gets that one in there for called third strike. Ryan Smith, first at bat of the day, sent home packing. Caught looking. And Troy Christensen will be the second batter of the inning for Newport Harbor. Christensen, one of the lone bright spots on the afternoon for a Sailors team that finds themselves in a 14-run deficit, as the catcher swings on the first pitch he sees and fouls that one up off the netting towards the Sailors dugout. Troy Christensen, 1 for 1 on the day, singled in the 3rd, drew a walk in the 5th, so able to reach base in his first 2 plate appearances. Down 0-1 here in his 3rd at bat of the afternoon. Hill delivers, and Christensen swings and knocks that one up past the shortstop for a base hit, his second single of the day. Troy Christensen, 2 for 2 on the afternoon. Came into today with 11 hits on the season. Now he's got 13, and Troy Christensen on with a single with 1 down in the bottom of the 6th. We move down to our number 9 batter for the Sailors, number 22, the shortstop, Joey Wright. And a good eye there by Joey, watching the first pitch for a ball. 1-0 the count with 1 down, 1 on. Here, bottom 6 from Stuart Fine Field. The 1-0 pitch swung on and ripped foul back towards the ENC. It's going to drop into the trees and the bushes for strike number 1. Sailor shortstop Joey Wright, a couple of fine defensive plays in this game. He's 1 for 2, a strikeout and a double. That one right in there at Joey Wright's head. He had to duck down. Oh my goodness. It tapped his bat, so it's strike number 2. And that's an unfortunate break of the game, as Joey Wright was just trying to honestly save his own life, ducking on that that pitch from Hayden Hill. Now he swings and knocks that one foul. 1-2 still the count to Joey Wright. Sailors junior shortstop, 2-year starter at shortstop, batting .353 on the season. He doubled in his last at bat. He swings and a slow floater drops in to left field for a single. Joey Wright's on board. He joins Troy Christensen on the base pass for the Sailors, and we're back to the top of the order. Bryce Blazer going to step in for Newport Harbor. The leadoff hitter, the left-handed batter, the junior from the Sunshine State, Florida. Moved here his freshman year. He's got a chance to knock a few in for the Sailors and continue to chip away at this 14-run deficit, 19-5. CDM leads. Blazer watches the first pitch from Hill. Right down the pipe, strike number 1. Blazer 1 for 3 this afternoon. Struck out looking to lead off the game in the first. Doubled in the third. And an RBI ground out in the 5th. Hill paints the outside corner with that one, framed beautifully by the catcher, Nico DiFerdinando. And that is strike number 2. Catcher Troy Christensen stands on second. Joey Wright on first. 1 down. That one outside, swung on him, missed. Blazer. Swing and a miss. And that is a strikeout. Blazer's second of the afternoon. He heads back to the dugout. And with 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th, runners on for the Sailors. Caden Stoll steps up to the plate for Newport Harbor. Stoll, the left fielder. Hit by that one, and he will walk up the first base line, take his base. Caden Stoll, second time hit by a pitch today. And he leads the team. He's been hit 10 times this season. Pretty much every other batter on this team, 0, 1, 2, maybe 3 times being hit by a pitch. Caden Stoll, the senior, playing in Colorado Springs next year. He's been hit by a pitch 10 times now, twice today. So the left fielder on at first. Bases are juiced for Cole Levin. First at-bat of the afternoon for Levin. On the mound right now for the Sailors, Mr. Levin. 2 innings pitched. Gave up 1 solo home run and 2 strikeouts. And Levin, not a ton of at-bats this year. Joined the baseball team a little bit later on in the season, and he is batting 125 on the season. Just 1 hit, a double, a walk, and he's come around to score 4 times. So he's been a pinch runner a few times. Cole Levin stands in. First pitch low in the dirt. It rolls past DiFerdinando, but runners hold. Christensen at third, Joey Wright at second, and Caden Stoll at third or at first base for Newport Harbor. So bases loaded, 2 down for big Cole Levin, Sailors' starting quarterback in football. The 2019 season led them to the the 3rd round of CIF playoffs. And he fouls that one straight back into DiFerdinando. 1-1 now the count to Cole Levin. Levin not able to play football this year. Ruled ineligible by CIF after he went and played out of state in Utah during the COVID season. So he would have most likely been the Sailors' starting quarterback, splitting some time with Nick Kim for the Tars football team. Did not play. Quite an athlete, the senior. And he stands in with the bases juiced for the Sailors. 1-1 the count to Cole Levin. Hayden Hill on the hill for CDM. He delivers. That one low in the dirt. Patience on display by the senior, Cole Levin, and the count is 2-1. 2 down, bases juiced for the Sailors. Down by 14. They added 4 to their tally in the 5th inning. What do they do in the 6th? That one inside. Cole's got to step back to avoid getting tagged, and now the Sailors pitcher is ahead 3-1. With the bases loaded. 2 down, bottom 6. Cole Levin, swing and a miss. High fastball. Strike number 2, so the count now is full. With 2 down. Here at the bottom of the sixth, Sailors need runs. They need a rally. They need everything they can get. Facing a major deficit. That one high and inside. And Cole Levin draws the walk. He will get an RBI, his first of the season, as the catcher, Troy Christensen, comes around, taps home plate. And the Sailors add one more to their tally. Now 19-6. CDM still firmly in control of this ball game from Stuart Finefield, but the Sailors finally starting to wake up a bit here late in the game. And Austin Lewick steps in the batter's box for Newport Harbor. 1 for 1 on the day. Austin Lewick replaced Will O'Neill in this game. That pitch down to the dirt. Trapped by D. Ferdinando, and he keeps Wright honest back at third base as Joey Wright was thinking about coming home. Base is still loaded. Joey Wright on third. Caden Stoll on second, and Cole Levin leading off at first base for the Sailors. 1-1 the count to Austin Lewick. 2 down. Lewick swings and misses for strike number 2. So the count to Lewick favoring the CDM pitcher, Hayden Hill. Lewick, infield single in his previous at-bat. That one swung on and missed. Hayden Hill gets Lewick swinging, and that does it for the bottom of the sixth. Sailors add 1 run, strand 3. Now we head to the top of the seventh, the final frame for Corona Del Mar with a 13-run lead, 19-6. The score here from Game 1 Battle of the Bay. We'll have 7th inning action for you when we come back. You're watching Newport Harbor Baseball on TarTV.
I'm happy. I'm happy. I told Nico I'm sending him for a triple no matter what if he hits the ball. I want a cycle and hit by pitch. That's cool. That's cool. That's a full cycle. Exactly. It's a super cycle. Come on, Nick. Go, Nick. Come on, Nick.
Welcome back into TarTV. Top of the 7th inning, final frame in this game. Largely a forgettable game from the Sailor side, although the bats have woken up a bit here over the previous 3 innings. 1 run for the Sailors in the bottom of the 4th, 4 runs in the bottom of the 5th, and another one in the previous frame. Cole Levin remains on the mound for the Sailors. First pitch, ball number 1 from the former football quarterback, Cole Levin. All-around athlete, Cole Levin has gone 2 innings strong, 1 hit. It was a solo home run and 1 earned run to go wrong, along with a pair of strikeouts for the senior. And he's behind in the count here to our first batter, top of this inning. The catcher, Nico DiFernando, needs a triple to complete the cycle. DiFernando, a solo home run in the second, a 2-run double also in the second. That was quite the second inning for CDM. 10 runs for the Sea Kings in that one. DiFernando singled in the 4th, hit by pitch in the 5th, and now in his 5th at-bat of the afternoon, he's ahead. Hitters count 3-1. Pitch from Levin on the way outside. It's a walk. So DiFernando will jog down the first base line. He is on with nobody out, top 7. Back to the top of the order for CDM. with D. Fernando on first. Matt DeCrona steps back in the batter's box for Corona Del Mar. Cole Levin paints the inside corner with that pitch. 0-1 the count to DeCrona. Matt DeCrona, just like pretty much every other batter on his team, improving his offensive standing with this afternoon's game. 3 for 5 is the Corona Del Mar second baseman. 3 hits, 3 runs, 1 run batted in. He did strike out 1 time. The count is 1-1 to DeCrona. Levin delivers right down the pipe. That's strike number 2. DeCrona stands in. Levin looks back towards D. Fernando at first base. Delivers, and that one is strike 3 called. DeCrona asleep at the plate, heads back to the dugout, and Levin gets his 3rd strikeout of the afternoon. That is out number 1 of the top of the 7th inning. Sea Kings still with a mighty lead, a lead bigger than they had in the Battle of the Bay for football. Very rare that you would say that, comparing cross-sport comparison, baseball to football, but it is a 13-run lead for the Sea Kings here. They won by 3 in the football game just over a month ago. And Jack Bolt stands in the batter's box for Corona Del Mar. Stepping up to the plate for the first time this afternoon is Bolt. Home plate umpire makes a note of the substitution, and Bolt stands in. D. Fernando leads off at first. Levin delivers, swung on. Caught on the run by Joey Wright. As Wright shifts over towards second base. Flips it over to Ryan Smith, who is replacing James Kroll at second, and that is the second out at the top of the 7th inning. And now Corona Del Mar down to their final out of the afternoon. Blake Butcher, the 3rd baseman, the number 3 batter today. The number 3 batter of this inning stands in for CDM. Levin delivers, fouled back by Butcher. Straight back towards us here, sitting right behind home plate. Strike number 1. Tough afternoon for Sailors pitchers. 19 runs given up, all 19 of those earned. No runs, or excuse me, no errors. No unearned runs this afternoon, but regardless, not a good day, not a memorable day for the Sailors pitching staff. But Levin dealing here over the last 2 2/3 innings. Just 1 run given up. And Levin throwing heat there, down and outside. It is ball number 2. 2-1 the count to Blake Butcher. 1 for 3 today, drawing 2 walks. Blake Butcher, he had a 2-run home run. Butcher swings at that one, fouls it up off the top netting and bounces down towards the CDM dugout. And the count 2-2. Deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. And the catcher, Nico Di Ferdinando, stands on first for Corona Del Mar. A lot of home runs today for the Sea Kings. Levin delivers. Bit outside. Count is full to Blake Butcher. Di Ferdinando, Butcher, man in twice, and Ryan Zimmerman all going yard for Corona Del Mar today. A total of 5 home runs given up by the Sailors. Di Ferdinando goes towards second on the full count pitch. Doesn't matter. It's a walk. Blake Butcher, take your base. The 3rd baseman jogs up to first. Di Ferdinando on second. And the Sea Kings, here in the upper half of the final frame, have 2 on with 2 down. And Charlie Mannon, left-handed batter, right fielder, stands in, steps up to the plate for Corona Del Mar. Now Mannon, with 2 on here, has a chance for his third 3-run homer this afternoon. First pitch by Levin, low in the dirt, ball number 1. So, by whatever twist of fate, Manning with an opportunity for 3 3-run homers as he has 2 runners on with 2 out in the top of the 7th. Pitch low and inside. Rolls past Christensen. Runners do not go. And Levin handling Manning with kid gloves here a little bit. As Manning's proven to be a dangerous batter for CDM today. 6 runs batted in for Manning. That one a bit outside, apparently a bit high. 3-0 the count to the Corona Del Mar right fielder, Charlie Manning. .30 pitch from Levin. Manning's just going to look that one in right down the pipe. Strike number 1. Now the count still favoring the hitter with 6 runs batted in and 2 homers on the day. Charlie Manning. 3-1 pitch from Levin. Swung on. And it's fouled off of Christensen as he gets up a bit gingerly. He'll walk it off. That certainly has to hurt. The count is full. 3-2 will be the count once we get reset. Charlie Manning walked in the first. And since then, had himself an afternoon. A walk, a 3-run homer, a single, a 3-run homer, a hit by pitch. And on the full count, Levin gets it just a bit outside. It's ball number 4, so back-to-back walks issued by the Sailors pitcher, Cole Levin. And now the bases are loaded with 2 outs. Top of the 7th, we'll have a quick conference on the mound between the Sailors coaching staff, the catcher Troy Christensen, and our 4th pitcher of the afternoon in relief, Cole Levin. We're going to talk it over with him. He's gone 2 2/3 innings, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks. Those 2 walks, his last 2 batters he's faced. And with some movement around the Sailors infield and outfield, it looks like we may see our 5th pitcher of the game for the Sailors. I stand corrected. Cole Levin stays in the game, so some movement on the infield and outfield. I saw James Kroll putting on and adjusting his sleeve, but regardless, Cole Levin stays on the mound. Bases loaded. And Ethan Watson is the batter for CDM. Watson, the lone ofer on the day for the Sea Kings. On a day where his teammates have tallied 17 hits and 5 home runs, Ethan Watson, the left fielder, wants to get in on the fun. He's 0 for 5 today, 2 strikeouts. The count is 1-1 with 2 down. Watson's last chance at it. He swings, bloops it up towards second base, and it drops for a hit. So Ethan Watson gets his first hit of the afternoon on his 6th at-bat, and he drives in a run for CDM. So the Sea Kings hang 20 on the Sailors. I believe it was D. Ferdinando coming around to score for Corona Del Mar. And Ethan Watson not only gets his first hit of the afternoon, he also picks up a RBI in the process. So the base is still loaded for CDM, and they lead 20-6. Stepping in and taking a swing at it, popping it up high in the air is Dennis Fitzpatrick. It's caught for out number 3. The Sea Kings leave 3. Add 1 run to their total. And they lead by 14, 20-6. Final frame. Sailors have 3 outs left and a 14-run deficit. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned. Bottom of the 7th. When we come back, you're watching Newport Harbor Baseball on TarTV. And we are headed to the bottom of the 7th. Welcome back into TarTV. Sam DiCarlo going to lead things off for the Sailors. A 14-run deficit for Newport Harbor. And 3 outs left to their name. First pitch into DiCarlo. Strike number 1. New pitcher on the mound for CDM. Number 5, Luke Korkmaz. Throwing a first pitch strike to DiCarlo. Also new catcher for the Sea Kings as DiCarlo pops that one up towards center field, and it's going to drop for a base hit. DiCarlo leads off the bottom of the 7th with a single. Gets that one to fall in the gap between right and center field. And DiCarlo stands at first with a single to lead off the final frame of the day. Ethan Watson, now your catcher for CDM. The thought that I was finishing before DiCarlo knocked that single into shallow center. And Trent Leolis, now your batter for the Sailors. The third baseman looks at a fastball right down the pipe from Korkmaz, and that's ball number 1. Was a bit high. That's DiCarlo's first hit of the afternoon, and Leolis stands in. He does have a solo home run in this game. That pitch high and outside, ball number 2. Trent Leolis, 1 for 3. And that one hit. Solo shot, one of the Sailors' 6 runs. And trying to spark the bottom of the 7th rally. Leolis takes a mighty cut at that one. A beautiful sound off the bat, but it is a fly ball caught in right field for out number 1. Charlie Manning didn't have to shift over too far. It was hit right to him. And Leolis flies out. 1 for 4 on the day now. Leolis, and Ryan Smith steps back up to the plate for the Sailors. Smith replaced James Kroll at second, and he struck out on his first at-bat. 0 for 1 is Smith. He swings at the first pitch he sees and fouls that one up to the right over towards the Sailors clubhouse, back by the ENC for strike 1. DiCarlo leads off from first. 1 down, 1 out. Wild pitch over everyone's head, thrown right back towards me. I ducked even though we got the netting. That thing was coming with some heat on it from Luke Korkmaz. And Sam DiCarlo gets over to second base on the wild pitch. So Sailors now have a runner in scoring position. They will need 13 more runners in scoring position to come back in this game. Down by 14, 20-6, bottom 7. But sometimes you need a spark to ignite a flame. And the Sailors have Sam DiCarlo at second. Ryan Smith up at bat. And he fouls that one towards the Sailors dugout. 1-2 now, the count to Smith. First-year varsity player, Smith, second baseman, also a pitcher. Will likely replace James Kroll at second base next season. Kroll graduating, going to play football at Chapman University. The 1-2 pitch, low and outside. Ball number 2, count even at 2-2 to Ryan Smith. Luke Korkmaz, our 4th Corona Del Mar pitcher this afternoon. And Smith swings at that. High fastball. A whiff by Smith, and the Sailors are down to their final out. Troy Christensen will be the 4th batter of this inning, potentially the last batter of the day for Newport Harbor. And if there's a guy you want in to keep the rally going, or start the rally, I guess it would be in this game Troy Christensen, who's 2 for 2 on the afternoon. 2 singles and a walk. And the first pitch from Korkmaz way outside. Nice move defensively by the replacement catcher, Ethan Watson, to stop that from becoming a wild pitch with Sam DiCarlo on second. And the second pitch from Korkmaz in there for a strike. 1-1, the count to Troy Christensen. 2 down, 1 on. Here in the bottom of the 7th inning, a forgettable battle of the Bay, for the most part, by the Sailors. Giving up 10 runs in the second, and CDM never looked back. Scoring in every frame except for the first and the sixth. And Christensen ahead in the count, 2-1 to Luke Korkmaz. The 2-1 pitch. Just a bit outside, 3-1. Christensen, the catcher, batting .239 on the season. Came into today with 11 hits. He's bumped that tally up to 13 with 2 singles in the third and the sixth. A walk in the fifth, is 8 of the year. And showing great vision and patience in this at-bat. 3-1 pitch. In there for a strike. Christensen was ready to start walking up the first base line. Thought it was a ball, and the count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 1 on. Bottom 7, Sailors down 14. It is truly do or die now for Newport Harbor. Troy Christensen stands in. Korkmaz delivers. Just a bit outside. Ball 4. And Christensen throws the bat back towards the dugout, and he almost tags his teammate Bryce Blazer, has to duck out of the way. That won't end up on camera, I don't think, but it was a close call there. Blazer able to avoid the flying bat. And the Sailors have 2 on with 2 down. Down by 14 runs in the bottom of the 7th. Stepping in for the Sailors is Joey Wright. Wild pitch from Korkmaz will advance the runners. DeCarlo to third, and Christensen over to second. Newport Harbor, 2 runners in scoring position, down 14. Bottom of the 7th, 2 outs, Joey Wright. At bat for the Sailors, Wright 2 for 3 on the day. And another pitch gets past the replacement catcher, Ethan Watson. The count 2-0 to Joey Wright. Sailors in a massive hole. It would be the rally to top all rallies, but as they say in the sport of baseball, it's not over until the fat lady sings. We're 1 out away from hearing some music here at Stewart Fine Field, but the Sailors not ready to go quietly just yet. Joey Wright, 2-0 count to the shortstop. He's got a pair of hits today. Korkmaz delivers low in the dirt, trapped by Ethan Watson. And it's the ultimate hitter's count, 3-0 to Joey Wright. 3-0 pitch in the dirt. Ball 4. 4 pitches, 4 balls. And we're back to the top of the order for the Newport Harbor Sailors. So no runs yet in this inning, but I talked about it needing to be the rally to top all rallies if the Sailors were to come back. Well, 2 outs, down 14 in the bottom of the 7th, and back to the top of the order. Let's see what Bryce Blazer can do. Sailors leadoff hitter, 1 for 4 this afternoon with 1 run batted in. He had a double. He knocked in one of the Sailors' 6 runs. He's also struck out twice. Blazer watches the first pitch from Korkmaz get by for a ball. And Korkmaz skips that one in the dirt. Blazer's got to avoid it skipping into his ankles. 2-0 now the count. Korkmaz, the 4th pitcher of the afternoon for Corona Del Mar. Having trouble finding the zone here. In his 1 inning of appearance, he's recorded 2 outs, but he's already thrown 20 pitches here in the bottom of the 7th. Sam DeCarlo stands on third. Troy Christensen on second. And Joey Wright on first. Bryce Blazer stands in. And that one way inside. Blazer's got to dance out of the way, and the count now 3-0. So another 3-0 count. That's 7 straight balls thrown by the Sea Kings' Luke Korkmaz, which, by the way, Sea Kings now have used everybody on their lineup card this afternoon. All the Sea Kings getting involved on the fun, and the 3-0 pitch, that one finds the zone. 3-1. The count now to the Sailors. Leadoff batter, the center fielder, Bryce Blazer. Korkmaz looks in, delivers just a bit high, and he walks in a run. So the 2-out rally, perhaps, getting started. Sam DeCarlo comes around. He'll tap home plate. And the Sailors Deficit now is 13, 20-7. A football score here in the Battle of the Bay baseball game. Game number 1 of this 3-game series. Sailors at home in games 1 and 3. CDM at home in game 2. That'll be Thursday. And we're back here on Saturday for game number 3. Bryce Blazer draws the walk. RBI walk for Blazer. 2 RBIs this afternoon for the Sailors center fielder. And now, Caden Stoll steps up to the plate for Newport Harbor. 1-1 the count to Stoll. 2 down, bases loaded, bottom 7. Sailors down 13. Caden Stoll, 1 for 2 this afternoon. He's knocked in a run. He also struck out. He came around to score one of the Sailors' 7 runs. He rips that one foul to the left of the third base line. Count now 1-2 to Stoll. Sailors down, potentially to their final strike. 2 outs, bases juiced for Stoll, the senior. Headed to play at Colorado Springs next season. Looks in. That one skips in the dirt. Good eye. Patience on display by Caden Stoll. Count even 2-2 to go along with 2 outs and a 13-run deficit for the Sailors. Bottom 7. 2-2 pitch from Korkmaz. Swung on and fouled up over towards the Sailors clubhouse. It'll bounce off the roof there. And Caden Stoll stays alive. Stoll batting a blazing hot .379 on the season. 2 home runs, 12 runs batted in. And he's come around to score 18 times, has the senior. 2-2 pitch in the dirt, and the count is full to Caden Stoll. Bryce Blazer, speedy, stands on first. Joey Wright on second, and the catcher Troy Christensen on third base. Full count, 2 outs, bottom 7. Korkmaz delivers. That one's high, gets past the catcher, Watson, and another run walked in. Here in the bottom of the 7th, so the Sailors add 2 to their tally. Still facing a double-digit deficit. 20-8 now the score in favor of the visiting Sea Kings. But the bases remain juiced for the Sailors' power hitter, Jackson Gillis. .369. His batting average on the year. 4 homers, 21 runs batted in for Gillis. And Korkmaz's first pitch to Gillis. Ball number 1. Gillis 1 for 3 today. 2 runs knocked in. He also scored a run. He struck out once. He swings. High fly ball towards right center field. In the sun, it is caught for out number 3. And the Sea Kings, with dominance, take game number 1 of the 3-game Battle of the Bay series. 20-8 your final here from Stuart Fine Baseball Field. 20 runs, 18 hits, no errors for the Sea Kings. 8 runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Sailors. They strand 3 in the bottom of the 7th, and this is a game certainly that the Sailors pitching staff will want to forget. Sea Kings take game number 1. Game number 2 from CDM Thursday. Sailors trying to even the series there. We will be live on TarTV in an hour's time from Ralph K. Reed Gymnasium. Boys basketball senior night taking on Laguna Beach. Stay tuned for that in 55 minutes from Ralph K. Reed Gymnasium. For John Hoist, Trixie, the Fresh Mesh, and the TarTV crew. For Coach Chalmers and the Sailors baseball team. For Athletic Director Jerry Murray and Principal Sean Bolden, this is Alex Crawford saying from Stuart Fine Baseball Field to Ralph K. Reed Gymnasium, from Davidson Field to the Bell Tower, you've been watching Newport Harbor Baseball on TarTV. Go Sailors!